Atlanta fans, it's time for that Atlanta sports show. Impact Media's weekly dive into the world of Atlanta United and the Atlanta Falcons, all about the people that play in that stadium right there. I'm your host, Jeremy the Impact York from Impact Media. Been a little bit since we've been on. Um, but this is the launch of the new season. I guess. I don't know. I need to look. Regardless, we're here to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and what they did over the weekend and what Atlanta United has done. I believe they have 7 games left as of right now. And man, they're right there. They're right there. Been a weird season, another weird season, but we will talk about that um, shortly. Obviously, we will talk about the Atlanta Falcons and their game over the weekend with the just escaped me. Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. I even know some Steeler fans. They're going to get me for that one. But as always, if you want to follow the show, go to our YouTube page, impact underscore media underscore. You will see all of our amazing different content. We have all kinds of different shows. Hunker Down, the UGA Bulldogs show. Up with the White and Gold, the Georgia Tech show. Hootie Who, the KSU show. We just did that one last night with special guest Cody Elias. If you're a fan of Impact Media, Cody used to co-host basically the early form of this show. He was one of the co-hosts along with Coach and Reggie. And we just did that one last night. Obviously, if you are a hockey fan, very, very soon, Board Check will officially launch the new season where we will talk all things hockey, especially in this area. And there is a ton going on right now as well. If you are a AEW or a WWE fan, the before and after pay-per-view shows that we do have some co-hosts on those as well with Daniel on the WWE and Clay on the AEW. In fact, the AEW wrap-up for this past All Out pay-per-view will be coming up tomorrow night. What am I missing? Strong Style, our MMA and pro wrestling show that will be back this week as well. It's been a crazy summer, guys, and looking to get everything back going. Um, this show could look a little different. So all of them could look a little different soon. We are playing with some um, different software and things. I think you guys are going to enjoy that. But like I said, we do a little bit of everything. Just depends on what you're into. We probably do a podcast about it. We really do. Or probably do a video cast or whatever you want to call this, a video. But as I said, let's get into Atlanta United. Right now, they do not play again until I believe the 14th. I will look that up here in a second. They sit in 10th in points, and I believe it's the top 7 that make the playoffs. Sounds right. They are currently 6 points out of 7. Now, I could be wrong. Could be the top 9, which puts them 1 point out. But I would say safely, they need to win 4 of the last 7, and they need to draw probably 1 to 2 of the other 3 just to really be close. I think they're going to be just outside at the moment. If it's 7, maybe. If it's 8 or 9, maybe 8. Maybe it's 8. I don't remember how MLS does. It seems like they change it all the time. But either way, it's been another interesting season. Not I'm about to go over details that all of you guys know because you guys are big fans like I am. Gonzalo Pineda relieved of his duties. Rob Valentino comes in again. I think Rob's doing an okay job. I can't fault everything on him or his coaching staff because he has only brought in like one or two people, didn't really get to build his own staff, just had to bring in people to help out. Um, he's coaching Pineda's team, or Pineda was trying to build it. Carlos Bocanegra, I'm pretty sure I saw that he's out now. You still got Garth Lagerway, who is pretty much running the teams de facto. I mean, because I mean, who else would be running the team right now? Um, Caleb Wiley in South America, or he's eventually going to be at Chelsea. Yorgos Yakimakis decided he wanted to take the money to go to I think I forgot which team he went to as well. This is how long ago. I've already put it out of my mind. It's there, appreciate all the contributions that these people made to the Atlanta United squad. But if you're not here, then you're not trying to help this team win. So, you know, kind of wish you the best with your future endeavors. But here in Atlanta, we're here to win. Um, handful of other people are gone. That's fine. I mean, you're proud of this. This this is what gets me about sports a lot, and you're allowed to react how you want to react. We tend to get upset when people leave our team or decide to take a bigger deal, and maybe it hurts the team or helps the team. Who knows? But wouldn't you do that in your job? Whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you uh, pump gas or sell insurance or run Microsoft. I mean, if somebody offers you a better deal and it works for you, makes things a lot easier, a lot better. Don't you take that as well? If you're going to, maybe you'll get let go from your job. You can't really trade people, I guess, but maybe you get moved to a different location. Maybe there's some sort of trade. It's like, all right, well, to move this person from that location to this location, we've got to send some other people back there. So, maybe you're the one that gets moved or things like that. We don't get mad when, well, maybe you do get upset. Maybe your neighbor takes a better job in a different city and they end up moving and you end up with different neighbors. But we get so mad. And it's maybe because sports is a form of entertainment. And with entertainment, we want that time period to take us out of our everyday lives. We don't want to have to think about the bills due or maybe something your kid needs or need new tires for your car, or maybe somebody is sick or injured. You want to take that 2 to 3 hour, 4 hour break, like going to a United game, like going to a Falcons game, and you just want to kind of put everything on pause and just have fun for a few minutes, right? So maybe that's why we get so upset when people move around. Caleb Wiley taking a bigger deal. He wants to play in Europe. This was the best shot for him to do that right now. Um, Yakimakis, same way. That's fine. He, you know, when he first got here, he said he wanted to be he wanted to break the Jomar records, Joseph Martinez. Okay. Said he wants to score so many goals and do so many things to help. Great. And then a couple months ago comes in and decides, I think I'm ready to leave. And maybe it was a coaching move. Maybe it was all that he saw coming. But I can't fault these guys for wanting to better themselves and do other things. And that's not saying that it's bad to be a part of this team. It's not bad to be Atlanta Falcons. It's not bad to be Atlanta United. It's just they're both at interesting points right now. We'll get more in the Falcons in a minute. Um, I will say this. Some of you know that I do know some of the bigger Atlanta media through other ventures and things like that, and some of them have been on versions of these shows. But people that cover Atlanta United closely, a lot closer than we do even. We cover them pretty close, but the ones that are really on the front lines covering this team, I do know some of them. That's not a way to name drop or to say I'm super cool. I'm just throwing that out there. This theory has nothing to do with any conversation I've had with them. There's nothing coming through the pipeline. There's no crazy rumor. This is actually something I thought of on the way to the studio today. This coaching staff. Um, if you ask me, is Rob Valentino going to be the head coach of this team next year? I would say there's about a 75 to 80% chance that the answer to that is no. I don't think that Rob's doing a bad job. I don't know if they keep him around as a an assistant coach like he's been before. I don't know if he just says, you know what, if you're not going to consider me as the lead dog here, then I'm not going to stick around again. Maybe he feels that way, and I would totally understand. Kind of always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And when he was the bride, he's just kind of a stunt double. He gets a chance to temporarily take over. Doesn't get a lot of say, but just kind of, hey, keep the boat on top of the water and not underneath it until we bring in the next captain. He's like, but I want to be captain, and I get it. I know you guys get it, but my thought is that Atlanta United, with their coaching search, is going to go bigger than usual. It's going to be a name known in the soccer circles, a bigger name. I don't think they go necessarily for an assistant with a team like they did with Pineda. I think it's going to be I don't even want to say Splash, because Splash sounds like something you're doing just sell tickets. It's not that. I think it's going to be a big enough move. It's going to be like Tata Martinez. It's not going to be Tata Martinez, but it's going to be like Tata Martinez in that, in the soccer circles, in the soccer world, a lot of the bigger soccer fans, which are you guys, the bigger football fans, are going to know who it is. I don't, I'm not even going to throw a name out there because I have not even a direction that they could go. I feel like though that that's what they're going to shoot for. They are going to. They're not going for the splashy, flashy, super awesome hire. They're wanting a big time person who's going to come in and fix it now. Not let's implement some things, let's try some things, let's do this. This roster's gonna I'd say a third of the roster turns over from this year to next. A lot of times just because of expiring contracts, but depending on club options, depending on who sticks around, Guzan's another one. If he decides to play another year, then I think he'd start on this team. If he decides, maybe I'll go do something else, then that spot's open. But I think when they go for a coach, they're going to go for a more well-known person than, let's, it's not this. Let me throw this name out there. Uh, Thierry Henry. He has coached, I believe, New York before. He's coached in MLS. He was a big time star for France on the world stage, and he played over in Europe. Wayne Rooney. I'm not just naming former players. Jurgen Klopp. These are people that I doubt they bring in, but it's going to be where when somebody says their name, you say, I've heard that name before. I know who that is. Or, man, that's a big guy. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at. And I'm looking forward to it. I really am, because I was looking at the stats earlier, and I don't know if you guys realize this. The top goal scorers for this team, you got Saba Lobanite, Daniel Rios, and Thiago Almada, all with 6 goals. Almada hasn't played here in a couple months or a month and a half. I think Rios had 3 of those in one game. think Lobanitze did as well, which is fine. The next tier, you got Jamal TRA, who, if I'm not mistaken, he had like 2 in a game or 3 in a game. Yakamakis, who had 5, as both of them had 5. And then you get Zonde Silva and Stian Gregerson, who both have 2. Caleb Wiley, Bartosz Slees, and Ajani Fortune, all with a goal. And Fortune had a giant goal we'll talk about in a second. But that's it. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've had 10 people score goals this year. And 1, 2, 3 of them, Almada's another one's gone. 3 of the 10 no longer play in the country, let alone for the team. Almada, Yakamakis, and Wiley all gone. Okay. That is where this offseason they're going to go for a big time striker. Now I don't let's not, it's obviously not Messi, but you're going to get I think they're going to go for I want to say Joseph Martinez type guy, but I think he's on the shorter side. He is height wise, but I think they're going to go for, uh, a taller striker, almost going to get a Mickey again, just somebody who just, I don't know, maybe runs like a deer and you just chuck that ball out in front of him and let him go. I think when they brought in what is that guy's it's I think he hasn't played yet, so he's not on my sheet. He's not, so I have to get it here. The midfielder we got. He is there to take over the Almada spot. And in doing so, there it is. Alexei Miranchuk. He's there, yes, to put in goals. I think he's going to play number 10. Yes, to put in goals, but more, lack of a better way to say it, that Beckham role, more to set him up. He's going to really draw a lot of attention, and then wherever that big time striker or strikers, they could definitely go to. Wherever that striker is, I think that is where Miranchuk is going to put the ball. And I think that's what this team is going to look like in the very, very near future. Now, I said they've got some games coming up. They have 4 left in the month of September and 3 in the month of October. They will not play again until Saturday the 14th. Then they'll have a game the following Wednesday, by the way, which is kind of crazy, especially seeing how it's Miami. But first 2 games this month are at home. They will host Nashville, and they will host Miami. Then they go to New York Red Bulls and to Philadelphia. That's the end of the month. So let's talk about Nashville. We're going to talk a little more about it next week because that game will be, or is that game? See, today is the 11th. So actually, the game's coming up. I was off a week. I was thinking we had a whole nother week. So they're going to welcome in Nashville. Atlanta, you think your season is up and down? Nashville's is down. Down. At least you have 2 wins in your last 5 games. Nashville has 3 losses, not 1 draw, not 1 win, 3 losses. That is a total of 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's how many points they have earned now they've scored, but that's how many points they have earned towards the table. 0. Yeah. At least you got some points, Atlanta. Be good with that. Now, that being said, we got to get bigger production from up top. I think Miranchuk is going to play. I want to see how he fits in with the regular squad here. And and if they put TRA or who they put up top as the striker, Rios, if they're both healthy, I think about putting them both. It just do something different. If you're Rob Valentino, I mean, the worst that's going to happen is Garth Lagerway says, we don't really want you to play like that. Because, I mean, who else is there to answer to? They practically got rid of everybody else. And in the process of, I mean, if I was Rob, I would try all kinds of stuff. Just first off, see what works. And second off, just to show that you can be creative and not keep trying to reinvent the wheel instead of making it roll better. I think a lot of this team, there's a lot of good talent. They just haven't quite put it together yet. And we don't know if that's leadership. We don't know if that is. But the only way we're going to find out is if you keep trying. But let's shift gears. Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. I can hear the groans already, guys. Truth be told, I picked the Falcons to win this game. I did. I picked the Falcons to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought they were going to beat them by 10 points. Turns out I couldn't be more wrong. The Steelers ended up winning this game 18-10, if you want to call it that. Now, what happened was Boswell kicked 6 field goals, I think 4 of which were over 45 yards. But the Steelers played how I thought they would. If it was Russ, then he's more cerebral and uses his mind to, in the same way Peyton does a little bit, although they're completely different quarterbacks. But he's more cerebral in how he plays. He's not a scrambler so much, especially nowadays. But he has a slightly better arm than Justin Fields, who has the better legs and the better ability to keep plays going. If you combine them, you have one heck of a quarterback, but can't combine them. That's playing with some weird science there. I said I liked a lot of things the Falcons did. Now ultimately what it comes down to, before I get into the good things, what it comes down to is I think the idea to rest almost all of your starters in the preseason is not the way to go. I don't think that's the way to go at all. So let's maybe rethink that strategy. But some things that I did like at times when Kurt had the ability to and the time to, he throws some ropes and he throws them straight. He throws a very catchable, straight pass. Not a lot of wobble to it, not nothing. It usually goes directly to the person he's intended it to. Even if it gets picked off, it's usually because the guy jumped the route, which happens. But I like some of the stuff I saw from Kurt. I thought the line had a couple issues. I thought Kurt had some issues. But how about the fact that they get near the red zone, a place that normally the Falcons struggle? I even heard Annie Agar on her podcast earlier today. This is an old episode, but she said she was talking to the guy that hosts the red zone and says, "Yeah, it's so crazy because the Falcons are always in the red zone, but usually like 2 plays later they turn it over or don't make it or something like that. And so being on red zone, you get to see a lot of Falcons in the red zone, but not a lot of scoring. And yeah, that was a shot. That was a shot at Falcons, but there's some truth to it. So the fact that they get to the red zone and Kurt goes to scramble to the left, and he's looking around and he looks to his left and he sees his running back has come out of the backfield and he's going to check it down. And about the time he looks to check it down, you see him look. I guess in you guys' case, you see him look, and then he sees a defender, and then he sees another guy from his team Number 8, Kyle Pitts, who literally looks like he's playing hide and go seek in Oklahoma. It's him and a tumbleweed and a bunch of desert and no bunch of flat land all around him. He is so open that Kurt says, you know what? I'm not going to check it down. I'm going to throw it to number 8, who's standing in the end zone. Falcons fans, how cool is that? Kyle Pitts gets the first touchdown of the year, the only one so far, but they find Kyle Pitts. That's something. Now they need to get Drake London involved. Now, Bijan Robinson. What kind of day did he have? I never saw his actual stats. 18 carries for 68 yards. This is a guy who has the third best odds to lead the league in yards this year. It is Christian McCaffrey, number 1. I think he was like a plus minus 700 or something like that. Maybe a plus 700. Plus 800 for Saquon Barkley. And there's like a plus 1,200 for Bijan Robinson. I considered it. Those are crazy odds. And could he leave the? Yeah, he could. Not with 18 carries for 68 yards. Tyler Algier, 3 carries for 21 yards. Like I said, the largest margin you were down was 8 points, and that was the final score. It's not like you were forced to throw a lot because you were down. No, it's let's see, Kurt threw 26 times and they had 22 carries. So you're looking 48 total offensive plays. Not a bad number and a pretty balanced attack. Isn't that what you guys wanted? Isn't that what you guys, the fans, wanted? You wanted a solid quarterback, Kirk Cousins. You drafted the quarterback of the future, Michael Penix. We need to get Kyle Pitts more involved. Well, he caught the first touchdown. What else did he? Did he 3 catches, 26 yards, and a touchdown? The longest he had was a 12, and that might have been the touchdown. Ray McLeod, that was actually your top receiver. But anyway, back to that. You wanted a good, solid quarterback. Kirk Cousins. You want the quarterback of the future, Michael Penix Jr. You want to get Kyle Pitts more involved, called the first touchdown. Drake London was the only one who was kind of left out of this one. I think your defensive line got some good pressures. I think your offensive line, they had a couple issues. I don't know that they're top 5. They say that they're top 5 preseason wise. The offensive line is. I'd put them top 10. They're good. Potential to be great. I would love to see it this year. Your special teams was fine. Didn't have any crazy punts. The one field goal, of course, Koo smashed it, but it was a 24-yarder. Yeah, your punter, Bradley Pinion, 4 punts, 210 yards, 52.5 per kick, and actually kicked a 59-yard punt at one point. Falcons fans, there's a lot of stuff you guys did right. Grady Jarrett had a sack and a half. The other half went to Matthew Judon. Yeah, imagine that, the new guy. Also, Judon and Jarrett, this is the first time they played next to each other. Wait till they start ramping up. Now, if you can get through the first 4 or 5 weeks, Atlanta, if you can be 2-2, even 2-3, even 3-2, somewhere in there, if you can be around 500 the first 4 or 5 weeks, the schedule's going to open up. And then that's when you start buzzsawing people and you take this division. But for now, let's also say that Justin Fields, if he did not have George Pickens on his team, this is a completely different ballgame. Because every time they needed to play, Justin Fields either ran for 6 to 8 yards on third down, or he found George Pickens 20 yards down the field. It's 100% what they did. Because remember, all they did was kick six field goals. Now that's probably four more than they normally would in a game, but you got beat by six field goals. They didn't get in the end zone, so you can't tell me that your defense was terrible because they held the opponents to six field goals. It was more the offense not being able to put it together. Like I said, Kirk Cousins had a bad day. Kirk will be the first to tell you that. He did say that in a handful of the pressers and everything I've seen since. But this team's gonna be better. They had a bad day. Enough of them had a bad day all at once to where it looked terrible. It was not that terrible, guys. It's one game. I had you'd be surprised how many Falcons fans that I know either texted or called or said, "Oh well, season's over." What what the NFL season that's 1 week old. Season's over because you lost to the Steelers. Well, I'll throw this out there. If you think the season's over for the Falcons after week one of any season, let alone just this one, then I don't know if Falcons Nation wants you around. I don't know if Arthur Blank wants you in that stadium. Not just it's not, everybody should believe in fairies and unicorns and live in fantasy world. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's 1 week. You at this point you could be 16-1. Maybe this is the one blip on the map. Who knows? I doubt this team goes 16-1. Let's throw that out there. But this team very much can still win 8, 9, 10, 11, not maybe 12. They can win 10, 11 games easy. They can. I mean, what's schedule like after this? There it is. Producer Sassy pulling that up. Appreciate that, Sassy. Okay. This week rough. This week, like I said, if they can get through week 4 or 5 and be 2-3 or 3-2, which I very much think they will be, then we're looking good. Granted, you penciled this one in and you didn't get it. So Monday night on ESPN, unless you are a direct TV person, I'll have to get creative on how I watch that, or maybe I'll come to one of you guys' houses and watch it. But anyway, the Eagles are going to host our Falcons on Monday Night Football. Here's the crazy thing: Eagles look pretty good. Saquon Barkley just went absolute. I don't know, absolute, just coconuts over everybody, and had a fantastic day. Well, as good as Philly looked, and as okay as the Falcons looked, Philly at home is only a 6.5 point favorite. 3 of that is because they're at home. So they are a 3.5 point favorite over the Atlanta Falcons. I don't bet much. I would the Falcons are either going to win this game, which is very possible, or they are going to lose by 6 points or less. I love that number. You absolutely take the under of the -6.5. You take the points. How are they going to beat the Eagles? Well, first off, you have to stop Saquon. That's a given, right? That's the number one thing that the Eagles did right was set it up for Saquon to just play out of his mind. And he did. And then, I think you have to pressure their quarterback, uh, Jalen, and put him in some uncomfortable situations and force him to make plays faster than he wants to. Don't let him extend plays. And then defensively, I think you pound the ball. No. Let's do the opposite. Let's find Drake London. Let's find Kyle Pitts. Let's find anybody out of the backfield. Let's find those guys and let's just light it up like you can do. We know Kirk can do it. Kirk's going to play at least 4 or 5 more games unless they're just absolute stinkers. But that's how they're going to beat the Eagles. Can they beat the Eagles? Yes. Are they going to beat the Eagles? I think there's a good chance. I really do. Really do think there's a good chance there. But just to go through what I'm talking about with the schedule. All right. So you had the Steelers. There we go. You had the Steelers. Then you get the Eagles. Then you host the Chiefs. Fun game. You host the Saints. Fun game. And then you host the Buccaneers. Those are home games. So what? Three of the first, no, four of the first 5 games you play are at home. You host the Steelers, you host the Chiefs, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. By the way, I think you can beat the Saints and the Buccaneers. I think you can beat the Eagles. You might can beat the Chiefs. You're going to lose one of those games, though. I said this team is looking at 2-3 or 3-2. But after that, we're talking Panthers, Seahawks, Buccaneers again, Cowboys. We're going to talk a lot about that game later. Saints again, Broncos, Chargers, Vikings, Raiders, Giants, Commanders, Panthers. I smell a lot of wins on there. Smell a lot of wins. Hopefully you guys do too. But what I also smell at this point is the end of the show. Hopefully I've given you guys some hope that both these teams are still in a good spot. It's not doom and gloom. The world's not over. United can still easily be in the playoffs. The Falcons can easily win 8, 9, 10, 11 games. And we will be here each and every week to talk about that. We are going to be getting some guests on for sure. Like I said, stay tuned to that. And let me know if there's some people maybe you think we can get on. We will try our best to get the people on that you want us to get on. I will throw this out here. Media people are a lot easier than coaches and players, especially during the season. It's harder to get them, have them be available. So just keep that in mind. Not saying they're impossible, just saying let's try to save that for the off season maybe. But also not saying never say never. But as I said, we're at the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in to another great edition of that Atlanta Sports Show. We are officially going to be back. You're going to see us each and every week. We've got everything squared away that has kept us away. And like I said, each and every week we'll come on and talk United. We'll come on and talk Falcons. And we'll continue to do this throughout the year. But I'm Jeremy the Impact Orc from Impact Media. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses. Go Falcons. Go United.